Welcome to the 2025 mayoral debate between candidates Kurt Booker and Abel Moran. Unfortunately, our favored candidate, Big Bunny, was not able to make it to the debate tonight, but that other candidates will be debating nonetheless. Let the debate commence.
Hello, sir. Abel Moran.
Good evening, Mr. Moran. Well, I meet you, Kurt Booker. Use the mics. Thank you. Welcome, candidates. Please take your seats.
Good to see you, Mr. Booker.
You too, thank you. And then we'll cut there. Candidate here tonight. To begin the debate, you will each have approximately 1 minute to make your opening statements. Once this is concluded, we will move on to the direct questions. The opening statements will begin with Mr. Moran, and that will be followed by Mr. Booker's opening debate.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say, our state is currently in distress. We are, as we speak, in an economic recession like no other. This is a unfortunate point in our history. I think that's very clear. I have plans that will both bring economic prosperity to our great state and simultaneously secure the safety of our citizenry. Thank you.
Mr. Booker, you may now say your opening statement.
Yes, well, as Mr. Moran said, we are in an economic crisis right now. The population is more divided than ever before, but his plans are not what he says they are. I am going to make sure that the economic state of our city is able to surpass all of its expectations, and that everybody is able to have an equal opportunity in their lives to make money.
Thank you for your opening statements. Let's move on to the next segment. As our first segment, I would like each of you to respond to Big Bunny's recent controversies and or actions as reported in Falcon News. This question will begin with a response from candidate Booker, followed by a response from candidate Moran. You have approximately 1 minute. You may begin.
Yeah, well, obviously the bill that he's signed, it's on the table right now. If that bill is signed, taxes will rise and the divide between the classes in our city will tighten. We will not be able to make it past that as a city. So that is why I'm making sure that that bill is not signed. I'm going to make sure that taxes stay low, you're all able to have the economic opportunities that you want, and freely interact with other classes and other regions in the city.
Candidate Moran, you may now begin.
Thank you, sir. Now, let me be clear. I'm for the people. Our freedoms are being stripped from us with this bill. Big Bunny has never been one to make these dividing claims. This is new. I voted for Big Bunny. I'm a registered Big Bunny voter. But what's coming out of the gate here it's ridiculous, sir. And I believe that we can't strip these essential freedoms from our people. I mean, are we going to seriously enforce curfews? It's ridiculous. Thank you.
Mr. Booker, would you like to make a rebuttal?
I think we're in perfect agreement.
All right then, let's move on to our next segment. Our next segment will cover a very important topic that is relevant to the people of New Aldensburg. It is the economy. Our first question is, how will your actions, policies, and bills spur economic growth across New Aldensburg? Candidate Moran, you will have approximately 1 minute to respond to this question, and this will be followed by a response from Mr. Booker, as well as some time for some rebuttals. You may begin.
Thank you, good sir. And I think this is a great place to initiate one of my first policies. I plan on giving business owners who are making great innovations, scientists and restaurants, a tax break so that this way we can make sure that there are more than enough tourists in our city. This will not only bring up our economy, but it will make sure that our economy is safe. As long as we can keep tourism in our great nation, we can maintain our economy. Thank you.
Candidate Booker, you may respond.
Yes, well, that sounds like a great idea, except those business owners that Mr. Moran here is talking about are only the leaders of three major economic competitors. Giving those people tax breaks will only increase the wealth divide in our city. It will cause the poor to be poor and the rich to be far richer than they've ever been before. Those three CEOs are going to have all the power, and that's unacceptable, which is why I plan on lowering taxes to bring the lower population above what they've been at before economically.
Thank you for your response. Candidate Moran, would you like to make a rebuttal?
Yes, sir. My increase in taxes is not only necessary, but will make the money more easy to spread around. And don't believe this crook on what he's saying with his divide of the economy. He doesn't believe that. He simply wants to increase the amount of money in his personal business. He's working with one of the most corrupt businessmen around. I simply cannot allow a man to work who works with Hardell to state that he wants more money among the citizenry. That'll be all.
Mr. Booker, would you like to make a rebuttal?
Yes, so what he says about Mr. Hardell is nothing but slander and lies. He is a hardworking man who has worked his way up the ladder honestly and strongly. He treats his employees well. This is why we made an agreement for him to back me, because he's the only company out of the three that has actually put the needs of the people first. The needs of his employees and the needs of the people who buy his products. This is unacceptable behavior, and I don't appreciate the slander that you've thrown at Mr. Hardell's name.
Me and Mr. Moody have been discussing a humanitarian bill that will spread money around our citizenry. Now, would you like to enlighten me on what Mr. Hardell plans to bring to the citizens? Because from what I hear, not only is he an awful boss, but he treats his workers like slaves. That's all I've been hearing coming out of his, quote, respectable business. And for a hard-working man, he seems to get a lot of his money from Daddy's company.
Do you know what you're hearing about him? Those rumors that you're hearing, those are coming from his opponents, his competing businesses, the ones who you're backing, the ones who are taking money from the people, treating them terribly, and then lying about it to your face, and you're falling for it, and so you better not fall for it too.
Mr. Moody is not a bad man, unlike Mr. Hardell. Mr. Moody worked for his money. Hardell did not. He got it from his father.
Candidates, I believe that is our time for this question. Let's move on to our next question. Our next segment will be about culture and life in New Aldensburg. Our question is, how will you uphold the culture and life of New Aldensburg as its mayor? Candidate Moran, you may begin with approximately 1 minute on the clock.
Thank you. I want to start this with a bit of a somber piece of information. On my mornings, I tend to go on walks around my city. And on those walks, I see an abandoned church. And I think it's a sentiment to what we have lost. If I am to become mayor, I'm going to reconstruct that church and bring culture back to our great city. And I also believe that my bill for supporting the businessmen who are creating innovations and the businesses who are creating food and tourism will help preserve our rich culture. Thank you.
Candidate Booker, you may respond.
Well, what he means by preserving the businesses who help enrich our culture is promoting those few businesses that support him. There are only, like I said several times, 3 major businesses. One of them backs me, and that one is the most diverse, the most kind to the people, basically the one that's the most for the people. And I think it's very harmful that he's going to try and help those opposing businesses who are doing nothing but harming the economy and the people. As for the church that he mentioned, I do understand that it is sad, and I agree that it's sad that church has been abandoned and left desolated. But the reason for that is not because nobody wants to go to church anymore. It's because everybody is stuck working their 12-hour-a-day jobs for these giant corporate businesses, having immense taxes on their shoulders, no time left to do anything else that can help bring the culture of New Aldensburg alive. So I believe by lowering taxes, we're going to allow people to have more recreation in their lives and be able to control the culture of the city and make it flourish as it once did. Thank you.
Candidate Moran, would you like to make a response?
Yes, first of all, the company who is most for the people by far is Falcon News, and I'm in no position to complain that. And for you to say that it isn't, frankly, it's telling. Second of all, to say with an honest heart that you believe the reason people don't go to church anymore is because of their 12-hour workdays, and might I ask, who supported those 12-hour workdays? Was it Mr. Hardell? I rest my case.
Candidate Booker, would you like to make a response?
Yes, of course. Well, as I've said multiple times in this interview, Mr. Hardell has done nothing but lower the amount of time his employees have been working for each other, or working for the company. and he has paid them as much as he can to maintain this successful business. I plan to raise that, of course. But what he mentioned about somehow Falcon News having any part in this, I don't think Falcon News has hindered or frankly helped the culture of New Aldensburg. I mean, they're a news company. Their job is, and they've been succeeding, is to provide the most neutral news possible. And that has nothing to do with culture. So I don't understand why that was brought into this. I was mainly talking about Optico, the company that he backs, and that is very unfair to the people.
Frankly, the fact that you think that our news source, the one that's been helping us through basically our entire history, isn't a part of our culture is insane. Second of all, Optico and I have been having conversations again about humanitarian aid. Though Mr. Moody hasn't made any public advice on this, I believe he will in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. Let's move on to our next segment. Our next question, which the people are dying to know the answer to, is how will each of you as individual candidates outperform Big Bunny as a mayor? What gives you an advantage over him? And how will you make the lives of the people better than Big Bunny would? Candidate Moran, you have approximately 1 minute to answer the question. You may begin.
Thank you. And as I said at the start of this, I used to be a Big Bunny supporter. But I think that the way I'm going to surpass him is by, first of all, the first thing I'm doing in office is canceling his bill. I can't let it stand. It's totally against the people. And I think I can surpass him by, instead of making a separationist bill, making a united bill. Something to bring the people together. And I think that me and Mr. Moody could, frankly, do this amazingly. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Mr. Brooker, you have approximately 1 minute.
Yes, well, obviously, Big Bunny has been a very, very major political member of this city for a very long time. And I don't want to destroy the work that he's put into making this a better city so far, as he hopes to do clearly with his new bill. But I do also think that his bill is very, very harmful to the people of New Aldensburg. And so in order to make the city better than it was when he was the mayor, I plan on tweaking things, making things a little bit more friendly to the people, a little bit more easy for people to move around socially, because he was a very dividing man. He caused a lot of division in the city. And I just want to change things slightly so that that's a bit less and people have more freedom.
Would you like to make a rebuttal?
Yes,
Mr.
I
Moran?
would. Mr. Booker, this is offensive. You are slapping a new coat of paint onto exactly what I just said. This is a professional setting. Come on, be a man of the people. Either agree with me or disagree with me. You can't have both.
A man of the people is nothing but a mirror reflecting the viewer's own beliefs back onto them in a way that makes them think it's the candidates. That's what you're doing right now, and you're tricking everybody who is watching this debate into thinking that you're on their side no matter what they believe.
This faux Socrates thinks that this is how he's going to run his campaign. You're wrong if you think that's how this is going to work. Thank you.
Would you like to make any final responses, Candidate Booker?
I think I've said everything I need to.
Understood. Let's move on to our next segment. For our next question, the people would like to know how each of you candidates think about Falcon News. What are your opinions on Falcon News? How will you treat Falcon News as the mayor of New Aldensburg? Candidate Booker, you will have 1 minute to respond to this question, followed by a response from Candidate Moran, and then rebuttals. You may begin.
Well, listen, in my opinion, this is very, very simple. Falcon News has been the only news company in this city for as long as any of us can remember. I'm sure you agree with that.
Yes, sir.
And to knock that over and replace it with a new news company, or to do anything to hinder the work that Falcon News has been putting into, contributing to the city, would be, frankly, a disgrace to, our city's history. And so I don't plan on changing anything about Falcon News or how it's run. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Candidate Moran, you may say your response to the question.
Thank you, sir. Me and Mr. Booker, let's make this clear, agree on very few things, but I believe that this is one of those few things. Falcon News has been the only neutral news source in our history. We can't topple that. It's very, very, very important that we have our neutrality secured, and Falcon News is, I fear, the only way we can do it. Thank you.
Candidate Booker, would you like to make a rebuttal to his statement?
Don't think so. That's about it.
In that case, let's move on to our next segment. Our next and final segment before our closing statements will be on the security and safety of New Aldensburg, an extremely important matter to the people. Our question is, how will you, as the mayor of New Aldensburg, uphold the security of its neighborhoods? And specifically, what will your gun and weapon policies be? Mr. Moran, you may begin.
Thank you. And I briefly discussed raising taxes in this debate, but I'd like to share more on why. If we raise our taxes, we can put that into our defense, into our police force, into our military. We can secure our people more with this money. If we were to lower taxes, there would be less money to fund our brave men and women in the police force. Additionally, I believe that gun laws should be equally or more restrictive than they currently are. I believe that very few citizens should be given the opportunity to own a firearm. This way we can ensure there are no unfortunate murders by the hands of weaponry. I believe that we should have a background check as an initial point for our weapons. Additionally, I think that we should have a constant security on those who own weapons that aren't in the official government or police force. Thank you.
May you elaborate, Candidate Moran, on what exactly this watching of the people will be with their weapons, and how the people will be able to keep themselves safe against a possibly tyrannical government?
I may have come across more tyrannical than I would have liked to. What I mean by this is a few visits from the police, knocks on the doors, checks how are they going, what their intentions with their weaponry is, going hunting, things like that.
Understood. Candidate Booker, you may say your response.
Listen, folks, the gun laws right now have been working. Except for petty crime, there has been no consistent issue of gun violence or of murders, any violent crimes in New Aldensburg. And I think that changing what's working is not the idea that we should follow at all. Obviously, gun laws are a very important issue, and I do think that having restrictions on who can own guns and how they can use them are very important. But to have police going up to people's houses, knocking on their doors whenever they please, that just feels like a complete violation of the freedom of the people, and I don't think that's acceptable at all. In regards to the militarization of the police or of the defense of the city, I think we don't have any consistent threats outside of New Aldensburg to the safety of the city, and we don't really have any issues with violent crimes, as I said. So I think putting more funding into militarizing the police, into the defense of New Aldensburg would be a waste of money, and I don't think that's reasonable.
Candidate Booker, may you elaborate, as Candidate Moran did, on how exactly you would keep the citizens of New Aldensburg with weapons in check?
Oh, is that with me? Yes.
Yes.
Well, of course, keeping the laws the same way they are won't work perfectly, because we still do have the issue of these petty crimes that occur every now and then. So I think increasing the amount of police dispersion, because currently we have them mainly centered in Upper Aldensburg, which I don't think is fair at all to the lower class citizens who might not be getting the protection that they deserve. I think instead we should have them spread around, especially at regions which may be subject to those petty crimes. And I think by concentrating our forces on the areas that have the most consistent issues with crimes, we're going to be able to eliminate it almost entirely.
Candidate Moran, your response?
The blatant twisting of my words from this man is abhorrent. He is making the claim that I plan on allowing police to knock whenever they please. This, in its basis, is incorrect, and it's defamation at its finest form. My statement is that police, upon a 1-month purchase of a weapon, will go to people's houses, knock on the doors, and so far, he's already been proven wrong in my so-called tyrannical bill. But even beyond that, the police are going to merely ask intention and then leave. There will be no entering of people's homes. There will be signed warrants by judges. There is going to be nothing tyrannical or unlawful with my bill. Additionally, his statement that all the police should be spread around and that they aren't already is not only on baseless information, but secondly, false. From what I'm told, there is more police in Lower Aldensburg because of some sort of Lower Aldensburgian crime of some sort. Now, we'll see in the fact-checking, but I believe that his things are completely baseless. Thank you.
Well, of course, there are technically more police currently in Lower Aldensburg, but that is simply because
Wait, no. You just said that there were more in Upper
No,
Aldensburg.
you're not
You
letting
just
me
twisted.
finish.
You
You're not
twisted your
letting
own
me
words,
finish.
good sir.
I did not twist my own words. You're
Yes,
not
you
letting me
did.
finish. Those
You
police,
just
those
said that they
police
were in
are
Upper
stationed
Aldensburg.
at the headquarters of Optigo, a major company. Excluding those police, 82% of all police not stationed there are in Upper Aldensburg, which makes no sense considering Optigo isn't even a major.
You're pulling
target of
numbers
crime.
out of your ass.
I'm not pulling numbers out of
Yes, you
anywhere.
are, good
These are
sir.
honest statistics, and you're
These are not
lying
honest
to
statistics.
Candidates, settle down.
Apologies.
We will now be moving on to our closing statements. Thank you for your time during this mayoral debate, candidates. We will close this out with a couple of closing statements from each of the candidates. You will have as long as you please to make a closing statement. However, the people may not want to be kept at length watching this recording, so please be wary of how long you are taking. Candidate Moran, you will begin.
I came to this debate today with an expectation on professionalism, and this man spit in the face of professionalism and our government. I won't let it stand. His insanity, his stuttering, his murmurs about false claims, honestly, I'm offended. I'm offended that he would come on such baseless claims. I'm offended that he would spit in the face of this debate. I can't believe that this is allowed at this fine enterprise. That's all.
Candidate Booker, your final response.
What you are hearing from Mr. Moran is nothing but a facade. The fancy clothing, the poetic speech, all in for the sake of making the people think that you're on their side when you're not. You're
My
tricking
fancy
people.
speech is a
You're
byproduct
not
of my
letting me finish.
education.
This is my closing statement. Thank you. Your education, as you said, you've spent your entire life as an upper class member of society. I worked my way up. I lived in Lower Aldensburg my entire life as a poor citizen. I was in a poor family. There were days when we didn't have enough to eat, and I understand what that's like. And I will not stand for your disgraceful practices, your lying, and your deceit. Vote candidate Booker and stand for justice.
Vote Abel Moran and stand for the people.
Thank you for watching the 2025 mayoral debate for the city of New Aldensburg. All fact-check information will be posted on screen in a few moments. Thank you again for watching. I'm Houston Myers reporting live from Falcon News, where credibility meets creativity. Have a good day, folks.